Can hear a little Arab in the background, huh? Cheers, brother. Cheers. I was actually setting up for the live, so let's kind of begin. I don't know how many of you guys are online. Playback 6, congruent view just 1, which is really low. But anyway, let's don't waste our time, right? So peace and blessings. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. I hope today's video is going to provide you guys a lot of value, because it did provide a lot of value to me. Now, RTGS Global is another giant which is being proposed against or versus Ripple. So Ripple is dead, right? Come on, let's be a bit serious. Let's look at what really is happening and what are the value proposition showed by this guys. Volume up, is the volume down? Joe Allen was asking for the volume. Is the volume too low? Can you guys actually hear me? Now, just before running into all the details, I just wanted to clarify that you guys can hear me, like the information is clear for you guys. If it is, do let me know in the comment section. Yeah, I agree, bullish guy. It's, at least it is presented as a Ripple killer, but it really is not. Now, yes, I would actually go through that. Okay. Anyway, I'll just start like we are starting now. Okay. RTGS Global is another giant which is being proposed against Ripple, precisely against Ripple and XRP. So, yes, in their perspective, they are the Ripple killer or the XRP killer, because they are not targeting at Ripple, they are targeting against XRP. Why? I'll actually give you the clear data for that. Now, when we look at that as XRP investors, should you be worried? If you don't have the real information, if you're just going around hype guys, then yeah, you should be worried. But we should be serious, because we are investors, right? So it's not what you guys think. Yes, I agree. It's a bit confusing. There would be a lot of idea against the bridge currency and other stuff from their own website, because they are talking about providing liquidity. Now, in order to understand what they are, what the value is they are proposing, and how it is standing against XRP, you need to actually understand something. So I'll actually play 10 seconds. Now, this is from their own website. It shows how they work. So first you need to understand how they works, what are the different elements in their structure, right? So if they are providing an infrastructure, we need to understand what are the components in that infrastructure. Does that actually stand against XRP? So that is the main question, right? The value proposition which they offer, is it way far better than Ripple and XRP, or will it be, even if it is way far better than XRP, will it be standing there for coming months, years and decades? That is a key question. Now listen to this.
The RTGS Global Liquidity Block delivers atomic settlement across both commercial and central banks using new real-time global settlement accounts, which is achieved in fiat currencies. This removes any requirement for the creation, cost and friction of introducing a cryptocurrency intermediary. Through the use of RTGS Global, all parties have time-stamped and immutably signed the transaction, ensuring non-repudiation, settlement finality, and auditability in real time that can be instantly viewed by the banks that were part.
Did you guys actually got something from there? So if you go into this website, RTGS Global, and come down and look at how they are working and go around 440. They talk about atomic settlement. Okay. Now listen carefully to each words they are putting here. Life-changing. Brother, this is, if you are an XRP investor, this information is not actually life-changing. Yeah, it's life-changing, not in the positive way. Okay? No, it's not actually nostro, vostro. It, is a bit different. I'll show you guys.
Global Liquidity Block delivers atomic settlement across both commercial and central banks using new real-time global settlement accounts, which is achieved in fiat currencies. This removes any requirement for the creation, cost and friction of introducing a cryptocurrency intermediary.
So they are talking about the friction in introducing a cryptocurrency intermediary. So who is the real intermediary being presented all across the board? As for central banks, correspondent banks, for the banking network, it really is what? Kind of showing you that you don't actually need a bridge asset to do this stuff. Now, yes, that is kind of something different, right? They are proposing everything against crypto. What we understand or what we stand for in the blockchain and cryptography is, if you want to move value, you need a bridge asset. As they are showing, if you are moving value from one fiat to another, here you need a digital fiat, meaning a bridge asset there. So XRP is done. Guys, that is the problem. You don't actually get inside the gun before it is being pointed and shot. So give me the time to actually go through all these articles, which actually took some time to go through, read, understand and all. So don't jump into conclusions. Go through all the data first and then make your own conclusion. Okay, so first we'll try to jump into this video itself and look at how they are working. Now I just gave you a highlight what they are targeting. So their target is to remove, they're saying if you want to introduce XRP, you need to first be in DLT technology. You have to implement that is additional cost for you. You don't need that. You just adopt us, RTGS Global. That's what they stand for now. So now let's play.
RTGS Global. We make global liquidity visible. Real-time gross settlement systems have transformed domestic payments in many countries. However, international payments have no such settlement model and are constrained by risk and inefficiency. If we look at how an international payment is made today, the issues become obvious. Let's use an example of a manufacturer in the US that needs to pay a UK supplier £100,000. Today, the manufacturer's bank, Bank A, would ask its UK correspondent, Bank B.
Now keep that in mind, would ask the correspondent bank in the next country. So when you go ahead with the video, you will understand that this correspondent banking relationship is still intact when they are using this RTGS Global 2. Why? Because RTGS Global is just making sure that there is enough liquidity to execute that particular payment. Okay, let's continue.
B, to fulfill the payment in pounds sterling. But for the payment to take place, funding arrangements must be agreed and completed first.
Now that funding arrangement means the nostro vostro account, and you can't actually rely on whether the bank is saying yeah we have that amount.
The financial risk occurs between the banks and is not related to the US manufacturer. Often, Bank A will pre-fund its sterling-denominated nostro account held by Bank B, exposing itself to fluctuating exchange rate risks. In other instances, if Bank A's nostro is underfunded for the transaction, Bank B may extend credit to Bank A to cover the transaction at a cost to cover their risk. Either way, because both banks are blind to one another's liquidity position, these funding arrangements are necessary to reduce counterparty risk prior to executing the payment. This inevitably impacts the time the transaction takes and introduces various forms of risk and financial.
So all these risks introduced are also the payments fee associated with. In order to reduce those risks, financial institution will impose fees because they would be implementing some new measures. So in order to implement those measures, they will pay fees. They will take that fees from the customer.
Financial friction. Challenges that are extended when additional intermediary correspondent banks are added to the process. Eventually, the interbank funding will be agreed, and Bank B can process the payment to the supplier, either directly to the supplier's account or via their domestic payment system. RTGS Global transforms this legacy transaction flow.
Okay, they are saying they are transforming the legacy. Now we know what is legacy, the SWIFT system, which is the legacy using correspondent banking chains, right? Now they are proposing we are changing the legacy system, giving you guys, a new century or new era of think. Okay, let's see.
Because uniquely, we make interbank liquidity visible and secure specific liquidity to every transaction we process. So, let's repeat the process, demonstrating the transformations that occur using the RTGS Global environment. Every transaction within RTGS Global operates using identical rules and processes. Now,
so they use identical rules and processes. Where is the change when the banks introduce the RTGS global system?
Now, when Bank A in America asks a counterparty bank to initiate a sterling-denominated payment, RTGS Global applies an instantaneous liquidity lock on equivalent US dollar funds held in a new account called a real-time global settlement account at Bank A. This removes the need to pre-fund a Nostro account because RTGS Global validates.
So the Nostro Vostro account has not, it is not needed to do that pre-funding. So when we talk about the dormant capital being tied up, they are removing the requirement for that in one side. Say from bank A to bank B, they don't actually need to do that. Instead, they would have to lock that capital with RTGS. Now,
And locks in real time Bank A's verified liquidity for the transaction, which is then available for the benefit of Bank B if the transaction is authorized. With Bank A's liquidity locked and with Bank B open to accept the payment request, RTGS Global again validates and locks £100,000 at Bank B, the amount due to the beneficiary in the UK. This becomes verified liquidity available for the benefit of Bank A, but only if the transaction is authorized. The liquidity locks can be applied between banks in as little as 300 milliseconds.
So 300 millisecond means it's 10 times faster than what Ripple and XRP is offering. Meaning XRP takes 3 seconds to execute that transaction. Here it's 0.3 seconds, meaning 300 milliseconds. Cool.
With both parties' liquidity locked, RTGS Global enables the two banks to finalize commercial terms on a bilateral basis. These may be governed by predefined rule sets that the banks operate and control within the RTGS Global core. The RTGS Global platform provides access to FX feeds and pricing configuration tools to each bank, enabling the banks to create their own rule sets. RTGS Global is not a party to the transaction and has no control or ownership of accounts or funds and charges no FX margin.
That is the key, guys. That is the key. If you want to listen to that again, I'll play that again.
And pricing configuration tools to each bank, enabling the banks to create their own rule sets. RTGS Global is not a party to the transaction and has no control or ownership of accounts or funds and charges no FX margin. Its role is solely to act as auditor of bilateral liquidity in a...
So that kind of concludes, if you are having that kind of cognitive ability, you already understood. They are just making sure that the liquidity is there, reducing the counterparty risk. That's what they are doing. Now, if we continue in this video, you are going to get much more idea about what really is happening behind the screens.
Secure financial transaction. To authorize the payment, Bank A's customer, the manufacturer in America, accepts the terms of the transaction and is authenticated. This request is received by RTGS Global, and we instantly create a patent-pending liquidity block. The liquidity block message simultaneously releases the liquidity locks at both banks, whilst simultaneously binding and transfers the fund's ownership between the banks.
Now, how do they execute this payment? Meaning, once they have to execute this payment, they have to settle it, right? So when they are looking at settlement, how they are looking at settlement, keep that too in the mind, because as we progress with other all related information, you're going to get to understand what that points means.
Releases the payment, ensuring that each bank has completed its individual obligations, thereby removing Herstat or settlement risk. In accounting terms, the liquidity block message credits USD value for Bank B in the real-time global settlement account held in Bank A and concurrently credits the real-time global settlement account held at Bank B in favor of Bank A. Now,
so for the settlement, you really have real-time global settlement account created for both sides and then executing this, right?
The £100,000 payment is released to the beneficiary in the UK, and this process can take just 100 milliseconds to complete. The RTGS Global Liquidity Block delivers atomic settlement across both commercial and central banks using...
So they are doing what? Atomic settlement for whom? Like that, this is the value proposition which they are proposing, right? They are showing you the liquidity available. They are auditing whether the liquidity is there, because why? As they show you in the initial phase, Bank A is actually blind to the liquidity proposition or a stand of Bank B. So they are reducing that requirement here and giving you that ability to do that atomic settlement.
Delivers atomic
They
settlement across both
argues
commercial.
Using this, you don't need the bridge currencies. You don't need a cryptocurrency.
And central banks using new real-time global settlement accounts, which is achieved in fiat currencies. This removes any requirement for the creation, cost and friction of introducing a cryptocurrency intermediary. Through the use of RTGS Global, all parties have time-stamped and immutably signed the transaction, ensuring non-repudiation, settlement finality, and auditability in real time that can be instantly viewed by the banks that were party to the transaction and their prudential regulators. For centuries, liquidity in cross-border payments has been invisible. Now it is visible, finally bringing the speed and certainty of domestic real-time gross settlement to a true multi-currency cross-border solution. In our world, RTGS stands for Real-Time Global Settlement, the name of the technology, process and bank accounts that power this transformation.
Now, this is the value proposition actually showed by the company RTGS Global. Now, when we look at that, you first have to understand what are they arguing. Yes, the current network or the current system, which is the legacy SWIFT system, it's not competitive in this age, right? And they are showing you different processes, how current system is being executed. So that's at that point, Ripple also argues the same. Current system is like this and it needs to be modified. Now, what are the differences? So this is the first article I'll take you guys through. RTGS Global launched stage 1 of its network in partnership with Microsoft. Now, this is a recent news, right? RTGS is fake. Huh? Who is this guy, brother? RTGS is fake. How can you say that, buddy? How can you say that? Don't jump into conclusions so early. Now, when you guys reach here and read through this article, you get to see a lot of things. Now, the connections between RTGS Global to different aspects, you can see that here. Now, what are they doing? Revolutionizing the cross-border payments. And then, RTGS Global Network has 43,000 global banks with them. That is actually a huge one. If you really are looking at that, they really advocate for going against cryptocurrency without using cryptocurrency, and they have 43,000 banks. That is kind of a big thing to look at. But what are they kind of stepping into? Stage 2 this autumn will see RTGS Global integrate its technology as an automatic add-in to Microsoft Azure. Now, they are working with Microsoft. What? Microsoft Azure. So we are pleased to make RTGS Global available in Microsoft Azure Marketplace to extend our benefits. So, okay, let's look at what is being showed here. Microsoft's Marley Gray, which is the head of Microsoft Azure. Ripple and ILP will be the fabric of multi-chain future. Again, Ripple and ILP will be the fabric of multi-chain future. If you doubt it or not, that is the truth. Now, if you still don't understand, look here. Marley Gray, who leads Microsoft Azure. So what we just saw here is the partnership between RTGS Global and Microsoft's Azure. Hope that kind of got in well, because if you are looking at that and going through that article, what you understand is like they are moving into an era of blockchain where you would be using smart contracts. So it's not just about the payments, it's about the settlement and everything related to that payment. It's kind of a chatty protocol in that manner, whereas RTGS is kind of standing against that. They are giving the just giving an auditory facility instantly. Now that really means instantly, because they are 10 times faster than Ripple and XRP in that aspect. They are saying, yeah, they can actually do that. Then we see this. Microsoft adds Ripple to Azure blockchain service, expands Ethereum tool. So it is something kind of similar to this thing, right? Just the highlight here is in this article that points directly to Ripple, and ILP will be the fabric of multi-chain future. So we are heading into that direction. Now, next article shows RTGS Global and Microsoft reimagine payment networks. Now, do imagine that payment networks are really increasing. Now, in that one, if you look at the guy, that is Nick, right? So he is the one who was processing. If you look back here, he founded the Clearbank and WorldPay co-group founder Nick Ogden. Okay, so one is Clearbank, another one is WorldPay. We have to actually check at what these institutions actually stand for. Say for example, when you come into this one, Amazon's new partnership with Ripple will expand merchant opportunities. Now when we say that, what is showing here, from now on all WorldPay retailers will be able to use Amazon Pay service to further improve their customers' online checkout process. So that is kind of something, you know, it's surprising. Like they're talking in the title is like Amazon's new partnership with Ripple is expanding opportunities for merchants, right? And then here, from now on, all WorldPay retailers will be able to use Amazon Pay service to further improve their customers' online checkouts. Now we just saw that the guy here is talking about, you know, he's from Clearbank, WorldPay, and all of this really understand Ripple. They really understand RippleNet and the value proposition showed by them. Now the question is, will the central banks move for that side or this side, right? Are central banks mad? They are doing trials, pilots, experiments all across the board with blockchain and DLT technology. I'll give you the proofs. Say this is from EBNAX. Now, how does the cross-border payments work? Now, I really had to read through this stuff after watching that video to just confirm that what they showed there is the entire stuff. But that's not the entire stuff actually. If you go through this one, you get the actual sequence of how a cross-border payment is executed. Say in this one, reading through that is kind of time consuming. Instead, I'll try to see, yep, this is another one. If you're using just an example from bank A to bank B using cloud and DLT blockchain systems, why we are actually concentrating on all of those stuffs? Because as we read through different articles and understand about the changes in the industry, there's a lot to really grasp about. Say this one from American Express shows the future of cross-border payments. Ripple versus Swift. There is nothing being talked about any other competitors, because even from that time you have competitor networks like Stellar and all. Why aren't they not being highlighted here? Because they are really talking about B2B cross-border payments. They are not talking about P2P, peer-to-peer. I agree, XLM Stellar network is there, but it is mainly focusing on the peer-to-peer services there, right? Here it's different, it's B2B. So in that aspect, if you look at this, they are really directly highlighting that Ripple is there, it's here, and the changes and the disruption really is happening. If you read through that, you can really understand about the Nostro, Vostro and other stuff. But what RTGS is offering here is you don't have to pre-fund your account with those banks. You just have to lock your liquidity while that transaction is being executed with us. Okay, we will make you a separate account and then do that stuff for you. So that's what it is being highlighted by American Express. Now, if we look at the Accenture website, real-time gross settlement on distributed ledger. Now, what RTGS offers is, you know, the real-time gross settlement, right? Now, this is a company which is offering it for financial institutions, and at the same time, these are giant financial institutions across the globe we are looking at. Now, Accenture is now working with central banks, you know, giant banking institutions, financial service providers, and all around the globe, and they are using distributed ledger technology. And when you come to the bottom, you can see RTGS system with DLT and cryptographically secure tokenized platform. Meaning, if you are using cryptographically secure tokenized platform, you need a bridge asset. What was the stand from the RTGS Global in how they works? They told they don't need, or they reduce the need for a bridge asset. So they are not looking at a cryptographically execution of payment. Now, when we continue to read this, tokenized payments help central banks improve efficiency and security. The process designed with SAP and R3 demonstrates the next stage of efficiency in payment system. So that introduces R3 in this link, right? That is cool. Now, when we look really at that atomic settlement statement from RTGS and look at what is happening between central banks in real time, you know, it's practical protection, right? So when we are looking at that, this is an example directly from Ripple itself. Hope it's actually clearly visible for you guys. So it's clear, right? So when we actually look at this, what we can understand is it is happening between central bank. That consider this as central bank A, which is from Fiji to Samoa, right? So the central banks in Fiji and central bank in Samoa is executing this payment. Now the flow between this, we already understand that how it actually works, how the X-current system or just the software platform from RippleNet works. So when they talk about this atomic settlement, here in their own system saying that for these atomic settlement you don't actually need bridge asset, you can just use us. Guys, think about what Accenture is doing, think about what Bank of America is doing, think about what American Express is doing. Are they really mad? No, right? Now this article shows a swift exit. So what are they really talking about? Is this article too old? No, it's this year. It's not like we are talking about past. We are talking about current systems. And what are they using? Says that cryptocurrencies and peer-to-peer banking offer fast alternative to increasingly politicized SWIFT network. So they are talking about cross-border payments and cryptocurrencies. So what was the value proposition of RTGS? They were talking, oh, we don't need bridge asset here. We don't actually have to introduce the friction by using cryptocurrencies. Personally, I thought using XRP as a bridge currency reduces that friction, and in terms it gives that ability to settle in 3 seconds with little cost. Now yes, RTGS global is 10 times faster in settlement. Say almost 8 to 10 times faster than Ripple's network for the payment settlement. But now when we actually look at the adoption of that and the worldwide perspective towards this payment side, what we see is something like this, right? Directly from them. Different payment networks of regional payment networks and showing connection with R3. So that kind of gets you towards the next area, which is the connection of R3 Coda and settlement. So how is the atomic settlement happening in R3 Coda? Hope this is actually visible and readable for you guys. Okay, now before we move on, we'll just see if there is any questions, or if I have missed any questions, please do let me know at the end of this video so that I can actually reply with my understanding. Now VKY, thank you VKY for your $5 contribution. Thank you for the support for the channel. You guys support the channel and that kind of motivates me to go through the document, spend more time on this and provide more value for you guys. The supports really matter. Thank you for that. Now Coda and settlement, let's talk atomic. So we just showed you guys how the atomic transaction happens, how it is actually going on different platforms. Say nowadays we are having different platforms for payments, right? So atomic transaction and delivery versus payment, this is huge. As more assets become tokenized, transactions can be created that make changes to multiple assets simultaneously. For example, an invoice can be marked as paid in the same transaction as the moment of payment. Who really offers that? That is simply, we are talking about tokenized assets, digital assets, tokenized assets. So when you actually look at that digital era, you're not just going from ordinary fiat to ordinary fiat. You would be looking at a digital token to another digital token. There you really need a bridge asset. So what they highlight here is that you don't need to introduce a cryptocurrency for this thing. Now this is for banking network using the existing correspondent banking system. The issue is there when we understand that the correspondent banking networks are actually going to the downside. The correspondent banking relationships, we showed you the documents previously, right? The relationships are going down. Why? Because maintaining those correspondent banking relations itself is an extra cost for banks. So that is one of an issue for them. If the correspondent banking networks are going down just because they don't want to keep that relation, to maintain that fee and all, then automatically the value proposition from this side is going to an empty side. Now, Bank of England turns to fintech for atomic settlement. What were we really talking about? And what we saw here from Ripple, atomic settlements via central banks. So when central banks are talking about atomic settlement using fintechs, it kind of gives you an idea of what they are looking at, right? So this article is actually a bit old, back in August 2018, and now we all understand that financial institutions, banking sector all work really slowly. So at that time, you really have to look at something which can really change the system here, right? So as we move further, we see the next article which connects this one from Bank of America. Ripple named an innovation example by Bank of America for what? Cross-border payments. Now, this is something using a middle ground existing between the crypto and traditional financial market, right? So they are talking about cryptocurrency industry, new platforms, which is the DLT technology. So what was RTGS perspective towards this? They were talking against this. You need a cryptocurrency to execute these payments, right? So now you understand directly from Bank of America that this is really happening. So there is no question or doubt that it has to be implemented soon. Now, this is from Everest showing results of Bank of England testing a potential global RTGS solution, assessing the Ripple payment system. So they are looking at what? RTGS solution, real-time gross settlement solution. And here, what are they actually accessing? They are accessing Ripple payment system. So are the central banks directly looking at what Ripple the company is proposing here, or are the central banks going for RTGS global networks and all? Now, yes, I agree, they have 43,000 banks. Now, this is the only clearing bank in UK with this kind of value proposition in last 250 years. I kind of agree with that, but it's not still highlighted in that kind of issue. So when people are actually showing you this is the Ripple killer, this is the XRP killer, first you have to understand, it's not yet complete. We are still in that, not yet in that level, because even if that is being executed, we have to understand. We just showed you an example here from the Central Bank of Fiji and Samoa, and here in this particular article they talk about international payments between Japan and Thailand using Ripple. So we are talking here about giant banks, central banks, the connection between cross-border payments using Ripple network. So if central banks are into this one, should we really worry about this? Should we really worry about the future of XRP when we are moving into ILP? Because we just directly read it from the website of Microsoft, right? Ripple shows this, showing Microsoft executive head says this: Ripple and ILP will be the fabric of multi-chain future. So when we look at different ledgers across the globe for cross-border payments, it won't really be that kicking in, right? It would be something different. Now, we just saw in the starting that WorldPay is, this guy is also the co-founder of WorldPay, right? So when we come back and look at WorldPay, we have to understand they are also looking at what? Cross-border payments. Now they also understand the service being provided now is not real service which the customers want, but they are actually looking at quick payouts, which is within 30 minutes. That is actually cool. They are providing it for around 154 jurisdictions across 50 countries. So that gives the ability to do more faster payments. So these all are looking at payment industry, precisely cross-border payments. Why? Because there is an opportunity. Now, this article gives us a lot more ability and lot more insight into this. Guys, I just will take a minute. I'll have a bit to drink and I'll be back. Just a second. Sorry guys for that delay. I had to connect the lap. Yeah, Adam just slept and I had a bit to drink. Kind of having a little bit cold. Anyway, let's get back. So what were we actually looking at? This one, right? When the payment systems around the globe is evolving, you have to understand the payment systems around the globe is evolving. It's not just one payment system. Now we are having a lot of payment system. If we go through this particular article, you know, it's a long list of different payment solutions around the globe, right? Drink a beer. Buddy, I don't drink beer or any alcohol. No cigarettes, no alcohol, kind of a different guy. Or you can say I'm still a third century guy which didn't actually see the world developed in this manner. Anyway, getting back to you. So payments space is changing. We are looking at different sort of payments around the globe, and now in this particular article we are going to present different meaning. Now why we are showing this, it all goes back to RTGS global's comparison with what? Ripple and XRP. So now let's actually go through that. So this one, yeah, when we start to read it from here, they are showing you different payment platforms, right? In this particular article, you will get to see a lot of different payment processes. Now, these are all going to be different ledgers for payments, which needs to be processed in the age of tokenized or digitized age. So the age of central bank digital currency, as we enter into that, these all payment processes need to be having an interoperable solution. Now, that is going to be the standard when we all enter into ISO 20022 soon, right? Just the SWIFT is delaying that, but it's not going to be delayed forever. We all understand that, right? So that's clear. Now, here in this article, first thing, this really is important. Stay focused on this, because as we move on, I'm going to give you clarification for this too. Looks at how fintech and payment innovation will disrupt the global e-commerce, which will double from 1.9 trillion to 4 trillion by 2020. Which year is it, guys? We are in 2020, so that's cool. 47 Japanese banks completed tests of distributed ledger technology. So where is this happening? Japan. What are they doing? DLT. Oh, that's something easy to understand, right? Now that is what RippleNet, Ripple's idea, Ripple's protocol, whatever you want to call it, it really is happening. So as we go downward in the article, they give you this. 47 banks completed DLT cloud pilot with Ripple Tech. That is more than you need there, right? So that first one is what? Ripple. It's technology using distributed ledger. Now, the second one, here, Business Insider profiled Nick Hogan. Also, okay, if you have that doubt, who is Nick Hogan? This is Nick Hogan. Here, you can see that that guy is for RTGS Global. So now you have an idea what are they talking about there. And Clearbank, we just showed you that. The first new purpose-built clearing bank in 250 years. I told you guys, right? Clearbank, they came up with that kind of a value proposition. One, which is Clearbank, gives that idea. So now they are looking at payments in an area where, world is entering into blockchain and DLT. These guys are coming out and saying, no, you don't actually really have to implement cryptocurrency bridge. You don't need to pay extra. You don't need to do all that. Just come to us. Just pay little to us every time when you execute the payments. So, that doesn't actually make a sense when you're entering into blockchain technology and the era of central bank digital currency, because we are going to get a lot of different aspect in this. Why? Because say at the top, when you actually read through this, now we actually have to see a lot of different ideas, a lot of different connections between here. Say here it shows Volunteer's Ripple connection using their API, how they handle their API, right? So now when we actually read through this particular article, we get to see different aspects. See here, it's showing payment trends in 2017, right? Back in 2017. So here, when you come to the bottom, trends such as new opportunities in payment industry in terms of adoption of open application programming interfaces, which is APIs, then growth in digital payments, innovation in cross-border payments. So now you're looking at innovations in cross-border payments and APIs. And that's where the example of Volunteer will give you the clarity. It's super, it's cool. Look at this. Now, Volunteer Ripple plugin. You get that API handling there. Everything goes cool. You are going to process that immediately. Johnny, sometimes drinking a beer can cure allergies. Buddy, what can I do? I was, born and raised up in Orthodox Christian family, an evangelical Christian family, and I'm not used to that from my childhood. When I was a child, I was always thinking like, once I grow up, get my job, I'm gonna do all of this stuff which my dad told me not to do. But when I actually grew up, I understood now he told not to do that, and he set an example himself not doing that. I don't have to actually go against that, because this is the right way, I thought. Anyway, let's jump back in the matter. So when we look at this stuff, it really is changing. So within the same article, as we progress further, now that's not only one example. If you go through the entire page, you're going to get a lot of different explanations for whatever they showed here in the summary, right? So here you're going to see how fintech and payment innovations will disrupt global e-commerce. Now, global e-commerce is actually set to reach $4 trillion from the current way of 1.9 trillion. So that is going to be something entirely different, right? And then we see Japan is entering DLT. Now we all understand which DLT it is, right? They are naming it directly, Ripple's technology. Now with SBI's recent change, everything is kind of cool. Everything is kind of cool. Japan is moving in for, they are high on XRP and Ripple. We all understand that. We all understand the technology brought into this phase, and now that we are entering into this area where payments is a lot of profits to take from based on current system. But once we enter into tokenized, digitized economy, there won't be much of payment providers because there won't be much of profit doing that. So if banks have to take that small share from the giant payments market, they would have to get into this technology. And what we are seeing directly from giant payment providers like American Express, let it be the Accenture's research team doing it for their partners, let it be central banks across the world, let it be Bank of America. We all saw details directly from them. We saw details from Bank of England. We saw the pilot trial and everything from them. So if you still someone is plotting this as Ripple killer, now yeah, from their side they can say we are going to be the Ripple killer, because if we look back at Ripple, say before 3-4 years, they were saying we are going to kick out Swift. Now yeah, really at that time others who support Swift would be thinking the same. But the value proposition, as we just showed here, it is clear that they are against the use of this. But at the same time, when we go through, there are some hidden connection between this particular company and they have one connection, that connection getting connected towards Ripple, another connection which is again diverted back to Ripple. So behind the scenes there are still, like, this particular guy actually understand that Ripple is a company and bridge asset XRP is being proposed by them, and that is why they, in their video how it works, directly and clearly states you don't actually need a bridge asset. Listen to this again.
Time global settlement accounts, which is achieved in fiat currencies. This removes any requirement for the creation, cost and friction of introducing a cryptocurrency intermediary. Through the use of RTGS Global, all parties have time-stamped and immutably signed the transaction, ensuring non-repudiation, settlement finality, and auditability in real time that can be instantly viewed by the banks that were party to the transaction and their prudential regulators. For centuries, liquidity in cross-border payments has been invisible. Now it is visible, finally bringing the speed and certainty of domestic real-time gross settlement to a true multi-currency cross-border solution. In our world, RTGS stands for Real-Time Global Settlement, the name of the technology. Through the use of RTGS Global, all requirement for the creation, cost and friction of introducing a cryptocurrency intermediary. Through the use of RTGS Global,
so that is kind of clear. Now in the background you would be hearing noise of water. I'm sitting in my balcony, and the connection of pipelines are going near to the balcony. Someone is using their washing machine now, so if that's a bit of disturbance, sorry for that, guys, because if I enter back and do the live inside, Adam just slept and he will be waking up. And those who have small kids, you'll understand now the peaceful time is when they sleep, right? Now that's nothing against child, I really love my baby, but that's the way how it goes. Now this is not just it. Today I am coming live because I have a lot. I had to actually go through all of this stuff which I really would like to share with you guys today. Now that's a lot to share. So once I had to actually go through all of this stuff and clear up that idea of the RTGS Global is going to kill XRP, they're going to kill Ripple, and that kind of perspective, I really wanted to take that out first, so that first you'll clear your mind, then you'll be able to focus on the fundamentals which are really growing now. So is it just one stuff which I really would like to take you guys through? No, there's a lot of stuff we really have to understand, right? There are talks happening within Ripple XRP community and Twitter, the crypto Twitter. They are all talking about one to another. This is using this is not using that. So you get to understand, we currently went through the system directly from RTGS Global. So I hope you guys actually got that crystal clear. Now, if you still have any doubt, do actually let me know if you have doubt here. Now, clean sound of a drink. Sounds like a beer. Come on, Faustia. Come on, Faustia. That's I told I don't actually drink, so I hope that's just a joke. Stay away from beer. Blah 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 blah. Sure. Cheers, mate. Cheers. Is there any questions here? Did I miss some questions before jumping into the next section, which really is the fundamental side of it, which we have to understand from one side to another, which gives us more clarity about what really is happening with the level of adoption which we are looking at. Now, when we speak about adoption, it's not just one thing, right? Now I understand when the price is going to the downside, and I'm talking to you guys with fundamentals, many would be like, no. First, we would have to look at the charts when the price is going down. Where is the next support? Where the price will be going at and all, right? There would be questions like that too. And personally, a bit prepared for that too. I would like to actually share that perspective too with you guys. Now, I don't know why the internet is showing a bit of delay, a lag here. Maybe it's not the internet, it's the system. It's getting a bit slow after loading all of this stuff. Anyway, so the type of fundamentals which we are going to share here is going to show you that the entire financial system is headed actually for a reset, and this is going to include cryptocurrency. Unlike the value proposition post by RTGS Global here, showing that you don't actually need a global bridge asset or a cryptocurrency introduction, things are happening differently. Even if they are providing that kind of value, proposing that in their area, that's not what is happening. It's something different, right? And in the price, I would like to show this. I posted this back in September 1 in my Patreon group, and I also shared with you guys too, right? What we were looking at, how the price was being fluctuated, and the technical levels as well. So we really need to check the technicals as well. So should I actually go through the technicals first and then move into the fundamental side here? It's up to you guys. If you anyone give me an input in that, we can actually check about that. Is there any questions? I'll try to, if there are any questions, I would like to reply that, because this coming live gives a ability to keep that touch with you guys, and to conduct a Q&A session in which I can help you guys with whatever I know. So that kind of gives you that ability to contact and stay in touch there, right? Dave, thank you for that. I'm actually waiting for a decision from Journal of Cleaner Protection for my third publication. Actually, as going through, the publishing research articles is hell, or you can say even the pain in the butt. It takes a long time to process one particular research article. Go through first, process all the experiments, do the data analysis and other, then get into your conclusion, results and all, then start writing this, then submit it to a journal where they would actually give you, they will take 1 month to one revision. Their comments, it would take at least 3-4 comment sections. So it goes like 1 to 2 years to get one paper published. And I managed to publish one in top 10 and one in top 5 international journal. Now I'm waiting for the next one in top 10, which is 6th rank actually, and then I'm writing another one for Nature. I don't know whether I can get it through, but I'm trying, because if I do that, that's in 1% in my category, which is civil engineering. So thank you, Dave. Thank you for that. Thanks for the great content and clarity. Red herring, without a doubt, we are moving away from nothing but fiat. So I hope there is no questions regarding that, and I didn't actually get any suggestion. Let me actually see if anyone is actually online. Are anyone listening to this? Because I didn't see the response from you guys. Concurrent views 81, yeah, 81 guys I like. So for scientific investor, that's more than enough that you guys are here. But as I didn't get any response for TA or FA here, so I'll start with the information which we have here, which is the fundamentals actually. Okay, I'll just minimize this tab so I can actually look at both the comments and the content simultaneously. So the first one here in the fundamental side is this one. Actually, Michael sent me this, showing this represents first time a fintech has acquired a nationally chartered and regulated bank, according to CNBC. So the deal consummated following final approval from the OCC. So what did OCC actually give the clarity for? They just stated that banks can hold crypto along with many other stuff. So the entire field of finance is changing. Now, this one again from Michael actually shows Brazil could have a central bank digital currency by 2022. That's just 2 years, right? So we are already closing in on 2020 and we are walking towards central bank digital currencies across different nations. Previously, South Korea just stated that, like, when I said South Korea, I think I just saw a question area or something about South Korea. Yeah, it's cracking down on exchanges. Jeremy, if you are still here, I would like to express that no, they are not doing like that. What they are trying to do is they are validating that every exchange is working properly, meaning they are not doing that wash trading stuff. They're not making up the volume and other stuff. And they understood in some of the exchanges, 90% or 95% are actually fake volume. They're just doing that liquidity to manage or to show their clients that we have that proper liquidity. So guys, jump in, we are here, we are providing value for you guys and all. So that's that stuff. Sorry for just diverting from there. I just got that point when I was talking about South Korea, that there was a question pending. Okay, so here when we look at central bank digital currency, even South Korea previously told we don't need central bank digital currency because our payment system is already advanced. But now they just deviated from that. They are going back again to fintechs to look at central bank digital currency. Why? Japan is coming out with this. China is ready with that. US is preparing. All around the globe we are seeing Euro, let it be different countries within Eurozone and outside Eurozone. They are all preparing for this, right? So if countries, economies has to emerge out of the current crisis, they are all talking about how it can emerge out of this economy, because the future is looking digital, tokenized, digitized. Everything is going to be different from what we have now. And for payments market, that is changing unlike anything. Can XRP fit in Christine Lagarde's vision of EU's future economy? Ripple CEO might just think so, and that really is the point. Because when we listen to individuals like Brad or Christine Lagarde, who was in IMF before and who is in the European Central Bank chief, she's the European Central Bank chief now, right? So when we get information from them like this, in the last video we went through the information. She tweeted a couple of info out, and that just showed where we are headed, right? The faster digital transition. And what are they going to use that for? They're going to use cutting edge payment system to enter into this area. And they are already having their work with the DLT blockchain and other stuff, and looking at digital euro. So when they enter into digital euro, digital dollar, they now need a digital bridge between them. Because if you don't have a digital bridge there, using any other technology would be causing disruptions for them. Now, cryptocurrency may be supercharging trade between Latin America and Eastern Asia. Now, if you look at Asia, Asia is already high on cryptocurrency market, and Ripple is kicking in there. And when we look at Latin America, recently we saw that the adoption for Ripple in Latin America is also increasing. So that's also a good step to actually understand that based on different regions, we are getting adoption. So when institutions like RTGS come out and state you don't actually need this stuff of cryptocurrency or blockchain or DLT, that's not what really is happening. Because say if banks, central banks, corporates have already invested in DLT, blockchain research and going further with that, they won't be saying like, okay, there is a company which just came out with this stuff, so we can just remove that. I don't think they would be taking that out, right? So the financial system gets reset. Now we have to understand it really is getting a reset. If you were watching a US markets yesterday, it plunged, right? And then you can see dead cat bounces there. So that, what is this actually? okay, you can actually see dead cat bounces. Maybe it goes down 10-20%, then it jumps like 5-6%. So don't get trapped in if you are trading that market too. Now SWIFT can transact to accept taxes in Bitcoin, Ether from next year. Now when we look around the globe, we are seeing that they are giving clarity for BTC and Ether, which is, you know, Chinese mind, which is, you know, they are all against China, but the politicians, regulators are not actually understanding it properly. They are painting, you know, different, they are not painting different assets based on what they actually are. Instead, they are doing these kind of stuff which kind of promote the miners in China, give them the ability to do that. Now, Brazil central bank says nation might be coming out with their central bank. We just saw that, right? So this is a direct article from them highlighting that how this is going to be evolved. Now, when the Central Bank of Brazil is entering into that, it won't only be Central Bank of Brazil, right? Now, when they are actually coming out and stating that we are going to do this, we are going to come out with a digital currency for central banks, what would be the considerations which they have to take, right? So here, while central banks already provide wholesale digital currency to financial institutions, a retail central bank digital currency would expand the access. Now, we understand that if government from central banks has to reach the common man, they would not directly get into central bank digital currency giving it to a common man. Why? Because that would go against the privacy, you know, democracy state of thing when a central bank is involved with everything in your life, mainly your location, your payment, every data. That data would be too much valuable for a Fed or for any kind of central bank to get more access above you. So they won't actually do that. That's the first thing. So now when we actually look at that around the globe, we understand that they are all competing. One central bank to another central bank, they are competing. Now this one shows Ghana planning central bank issued digital currency. Again, a central bank digital currency. So we are heading into that area with central bank digital currency. So if you really are looking at cross-border payments, when these all are rolled out, you still need a bridge asset. So that kind of goes against the RTGS again, who are naming it like as, you know, Ripple and XRP killer. The value proposition is like that. So it's kind of standing against it. So now when we actually go through the rest of the articles, we get the understanding that it is all turning positive, right? Now this one is not actually that much positive if you are looking at in that aspect, say digital ID. It's not for payments, it's for your vaccination. Governments can understand who is actually vaccinated, who's not vaccinated. You know, all your health details would be stuck into that information or stuck with that ID, which is also not that cool if governments are going to go with that kind of stuff. Now, yeah, guys are coming out and proposing these kind of stuff, which is not actually that cool. If you are in a democratic nation, that won't be sounding really cool for you guys, right? My local bank claims to know nothing about digital assets, super early. Yeah, I agree. We are so early into this. Even though central banks, some banks are actually getting info about this, not everyone is actually looking at this as a disruptive technology because they are not understanding that. Now, when we look here, the governor of the Bank of England has warned that regulators around the world must move early to set standards that reduce risk and foster innovation. So they are not telling to kick this stuff out. They are informing that we should be staying with the innovation. Don't just push the innovation to the downside. Instead, stay with that. That is what they are really talking about, right? So this is also a monumental stuff if you are looking at that one. Now, when we look at all of these fundamental stuff going in and out, the changes in US market also affects to some extent. Now, this is still not completed. There is no confirmation yet, but still they're against Judy, and Judy is full for gold standard in it. Now, at least now in a cryptocurrency way due to the DLT and blockchain technology, right? So if we are seeing central banks using cryptocurrencies or digital assets, one institution like RTGS cannot actually change that. So if someone says Ripple XRP is dead only because RTGS Global is there, just say no, you know, just say shut up. That would be better for them. Now, let's actually look at the charts first. we jump into the charts first, right? So here, if you are looking at the chart, now this is a daily chart for XRP, and what I highlight here is, say, in this one, I actually created this in the Patreon and submitted back in September 1st, and I actually showed that to you guys too, right? We are having a rounded bottom pattern here. Now, if you actually look at that in a different manner, say this is XRP USD, right? So if you look at XRP BTC, you would get a different pattern there. Now, yes, all of that has to go in one direction, because if XRP is being appreciated, then it should be reflecting in that area. Now, here what you have to look at is the possibility on September 1st was still there to come down and touch this particular trend line. Now, if you zoom in and look at it, it's not actually doing that. It just broke below this particular small trend line, which was moving above, right? So as we look at this, what you can understand here is we just broke below that and tried to go above that, but the 50-day moving average just pushed the price down. So now on a shorter time frame, that actually is a bit bearish. If you would like to look at that on an even shorter time frame, moving into that, say you get to see this price broke down from that support level. If you can see, this was staying as a support line. The price was respecting that particular level, but it just broke to the downside here. Then it went to the upside, retested that area, but it was again pushed back to the downside. Now, that's with the price. If you look at the bottom of the price here, first one and second one, I was actually thinking we were going to get a double bottom here, because the RSI was showing that. And still, the RSI is making the double bottom confirmation here. It's moving to the upside, meaning you already got a double bottom in the RSI. Now, that one is clear, right? And again, if you look at the price, you are seeing a divergence there. So this one should be bullish, right? That is on a smaller time frame, so we can't completely rely on that. Still, that is a bullish symbol. Now, if you actually look at XRP to BTC pair and understand how this fluctuation is going on, because we just saw that on a daily XRP USD is giving you a rounded bottom there. If you look at this also, it kind of gives you a rounded bottom, but by the end of that, it kind of goes parabolic. Now, if you are looking till here, it looks cool, it looks okay, it was being prepared, being ready for as a rounded bottom, but from there it just moved to the other side. So if we put it clearly, it's something like this, right? Here it went parabolically, now it retraced back and reached that particular area where you are still in that zone. So nothing has changed. Even in BTC USD, XRP BTC, XRP USD, you are seeing something similar. If you are looking at the neckline here, you can plot that here as neckline, and you would get like 50-60% to the upside, or for XRP USD you would see 170-180% to the upside once we get a break above that. But still now we haven't actually received that one. So if you are to actually measure that in percentage from the bottom to the upside here, you actually get 128%, but that is only when we break to the upside. If we manage to break above this particular level, which is acting as a long-term resistance from last August, we would be looking at something cool. We would be moving to the upside, right? So that's going to be something cool there. So that is the technical stuff we are looking at. Now, if you look at the overall crypto market, say if you go into coinpaprika.com and look at the general crypto market, we are seeing red. Majority are in red day. You know, last week everything it just shifted to the red there, except some of them like Tron. Now, yeah, even though it went on a short time downside, it went 50% up in a week. Now, if you want to compare that with Tron, in the last video I compared that with Tron, right? So when you actually look at assets like this, which gets pumped when the entire market is going to the downside, look at the technical side as well, because many argues that technical doesn't actually give you the entire idea, but it actually shows you the probability. It's not completely accurate. It's not saying 100% this is going to happen. Instead, it is showing that the chances for this stuff happening is there. Say a 60% chance, a 70% chance. That depends upon the pattern you are recognizing from that technical analysis. Now, when we look at Tron 2, we understand that usually whenever a pattern is created, the target is set to 75 to 80% of that, right? So here you already reached that target, so you can't say that this pattern is invalid. It is already completed. If you're asking me, 70 to 80% is cool for that particular pattern, so it is completed. So when we look at XRP on a monthly, that's when you have to understand things are still intact, because if you look at, say, on a 3-day chart, you would be getting a bit of bearish signal. Look at the RSI, but when you get too close and and try to understand different points which are being connected there, you still have room to go to the downside. MACD has crossed to the downside, the volume is to the downside, so yeah, there is room to the downside. So the price may come back, retest this level, even create a wick like this, and then move to the upside. We should be prepared for that too. Now these are short-term fluctuations, right? So if you are a guy who are not looking at short-term fluctuation, then you can go look at a weekly chart or even look at a monthly chart to understand what really is happening. Because on a weekly, you can see this. The price went to the upside, it's making a flag, and then it just started looking like, oh, no, I'm going to the downside. There is something. Now, at the same time, you can see that the moving averages are going to get a bullish cross. But now the price is moving to the downside. It may show like, no, it's something like this. I'm going to bounce off from this level. We have to actually keep in mind that once we get the weekly close and an open next week, we are going to see much more clarity here. If we are to close here and get a correction to the upside, 5-10%, we would be crossing to the upside, and that's bullish, right, on a weekly chart. So if we move on to a monthly chart and look at this, we already got that cross on a monthly. So for month, those who are looking at monthly chart and assessing this situation, they would be looking at any dip as a buying opportunity, because this symbol, at least for me, this symbol shows like it's going to be a green months ahead. Next month, 2 month, 3 month, 4 month, it should be green as we are seeing this, unless something really was happen, like governments come against this, technology goes off, Ripple the company goes bankrupt and other stuff. It's going to be going to the upside from here, because we are watching the momentum to the upside. Now, even last time when you look at this, go back to 2017 and look at how things evolved. When this crossed to the upside, it started getting that momentum. Then it slowly consolidated and boom, it just went to the upside, right? So that's what we are actually looking at in the technical side, in longer term, shorter term. So that's cool. Now, if you guys really have any kind of questions which you would like to get a response for, do let me know. I'll actually wait for a couple of minutes, and if you have a response, then sure, if you have any questions, sure, we'll actually check that too. It says right on the RTGS Global website, they are not eliminating nostros. Yeah, they are using, no, we went through that, right? They are using that stuff in a different manner. They are using that stuff, correspondent banking relations, everything is same. Only they are providing, I showed you the video itself, I explained, right? Only they are giving you a instant audit for that liquidity which is available. We make liquidity visible. That is the stuff happening there. Now in their video, if you look, they kind of show you clearly that in the existing system this is happening, and when you introduce RTGS Global, they give you visibility for the liquidity, right? They get 2 accounts for real-time settlement, and then give you info, like for the banks, an information that it is there, it is reliable, you can execute that payment there. So that's what really is happening there. So it's not like they are completely going against the correspondent banking network, nostro accounts and all. They're just saying don't pre-fund your accounts, right? In the video it directly states you don't need to pre-fund your account, but still you need to execute that payment using that liquidity. So you have to use existing money, at least, like say for example, now you would be keeping your money other side on bank B in a different country as pre-funded account. Here in this stuff, you don't need to actually do that. Say, instead, you would be handling it to RTGS Global. They will lock that liquidity there and then move it to bank B in a different region. So that's what really is happening. Now, if we don't actually have any questions, I think we can end this live here. I'll wait for a couple of minutes, and then if there is no questions, that would be it for this live, guys. Know anything with PI? That's Pi network, right? I haven't actually researched much about that, but it really seems like providing value in the payment space. But now what you have to understand is payment space is going to get congested. We are going to get a lot of different providers, as this article shows you. A a plethora of guys are coming in with different products into this. But the issue would be like when we enter into a digitized tokenized economy, these guys also need to go in that manner, right? They'll all come with their own tokens, and then it is a tokenized economy, crypto economy, we can say. For each even domestic transaction, you would be needing a bridge asset if that's the case. So that's cool. So English to me. Thanks, Daniel. Cheers, buddy. Cheers. Thank you. So guys, as there is no much questions here, I hope we went through all of the data and you found value for your time here. So I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.